Hi, Lucy. It's been said there's two things in life that we cannot escape from. One is paying our taxes, and the next one is death. Everyone dies. Young, old, sick, healthy, poor, rich, male, female, everyone dies. But when someone that we know and love dies suddenly, unexpectedly, even violently, it could take us on a real roller coaster ride of emotions as we process through this sudden death. I experienced that some years ago when my brother, at the age of 33, died suddenly, unexpectedly, tragically. And I remember one of the first things that I felt was a sense of guilt. I had been sewing the night before. I had a hobby of sewing. And when I found out the next day that he was killed tragically, I felt guilt. I felt, had I been praying instead of sewing, that maybe my brother would have still been alive. That was a false guilt, but I did bear that false guilt. I felt shame because of the circumstances under which he was killed. I felt a shame that went over me, and I had to process through that shame. It was like dealing with a death on top of a death, not just the fact that he died, but it was also the way in which he died. So that was another thing I had to deal with. I dealt with anger. And, sometimes people get mad at God, but I got mad at my brother. And I remember one day just being in my kitchen by myself and just shouting and being angry and yelling at him, even though he wasn't there. And I was so mad at him. And I said, if you hadn't made those choices, you'd still be alive. And I remember feeling anger at my brother, whom I loved dearly. He was my very best friend. But I remember dealing with anger. And I felt denial. There was a battle between my head and my heart. My head knew what had happened, but my heart refused to accept it. So there was an internal battle between my head and my heart to move to the place of accepting the circumstances and dealing with it. And what do you do? What do you do when you lose someone in a sudden, tragic way? What can you do? The only thing that we can do is go to God. And you may be dealing with anger at God because we know that God's in control of all things. And it's like, okay, God, why did you allow this to happen? Well, on this earth, we may not have all those answers, but the Bible teaches that God is good. We live in a fallen and broken world. And because sin is in this world, tragedies that bring pain and suffering, they occur in this world. But yet God has said that he would be there for us. It says that he's close to the brokenhearted. And in Psalm 61, I'm going to just read this psalm. It says, verse 1, "Hear my cry, O God, attend to my prayer. From the end of the earth I will cry to you when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I." And I just want to give a little word of encouragement to those that may be dealing with a tragic circumstance in your life, even at this moment, of someone that you love so dearly, that you continue to love, and has died suddenly, or even if they've died in the past, but yet you're still dealing with that death when, the anniversary of their death or their birthday or different things that remind you of that person come up. Know that there is a God in heaven that loves you unconditionally, and you can call to him. You may not have all the answers this side of heaven, but you can have a best friend that will be with you and will take you through the difficult times in life. And so I just pray that this brief little word would be able to help you, and to help you to realize that you're not alone. All those emotions that you feel and struggle with, others have gone through it too, but trust God and he can take you through. God bless.